So today is Blue Sunday. That's a time where churches across the nation take time out to remember the kids that are in foster care or that are waiting to be adopted, kids who have been abused and neglected, and the church takes time out to remember them and to pray for them. And so Josh and Summer asked us to come and speak with you guys today about the opioid epidemic in Lorain County and also the need for foster placements. 3 people die every week from an opioid overdose. And 1 out of every 6 people that we personally know struggles with an addiction problem. People require a lot of supports and treatment centers to come alongside them in order to get off of the drugs. So it's really impacting the county and the county's children. I work for Children's Services. I've worked there for 14 years, and we've seen an increase in families that we're working with an opiate problem. Because families tend to neglect their children when they're using opiates. They become very selfish, very focused on themselves, getting money for themselves in order to get drugs, to buy drugs, to use drugs. So then they're not paying their rent, they're not paying their utilities. Children are getting evicted from their homes with their families or living in homes with no water, electric, heat, things of that nature. Families are not sending their kids to school, getting kids to medical appointments, just not paying attention to children. There's a lot of children that end up getting unsupervised, where kids are doing whatever they want to do. Babies who cry for their parents and the parents don't respond because they're strung out or they're not home because they're trying to get drugs. I mean, there's no perfect person to become a foster parent. I think it's something that you learn by doing. I know me as a parent, I didn't know what I was doing until I became a parent. So I think just having a willingness to learn, to go to trainings.
I've been using some sort of drugs or alcohol since I was 14 years old. I'm 36. Children's Services has custody of my 3 children, and they are in foster care right now today. Yeah, they were separated. They're together now. But they didn't have anyone to take all of them. So October, I joined the program that Tiffany works specifically with, and it's a drug court, domestic relations court. And they create a support team around me and everyone else in it, just to support us through treatment, support us through, finding us safe and sober housing, support us just in family stability. As we work on a reunification plan, they've helped us fix our vehicle. I live in a safe place where I can have the kids. I now have them every weekend. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have them around me as I'm going through this. I was so happy you came.
Why?
Because I was missing you so bad.
You are.
And I think anybody that's going through an addiction, we don't know that we need that help. We don't know that help is out there. And the day that they arrived to me, it was God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. I wouldn't have ever handed my kids over voluntarily, but that's what needed to happen. I needed to disconnect from the world, from my family, and find God. It's a battle of a spiritual nature that the absolute only hope is to find that stability with God. And the foster parents that stepped up now at the end that have all 3 of them together, they are just a blessing. I mean, they brought me pictures, took them to the photo studio and bring me, wonderful pictures of all 3 kids smiling at the same time, which is a feat in itself. And just, little card with scripture written on it. And some of us, this is the first introduction to any kind of Christianity. We don't know. We don't know that there's that hope out there. So to mobilize the church in bringing these children into their homes and ministering to them, and in doing so, ministering to the parents, it becomes a great movement. It really does. And God is doing something awesome in this region right now. The epidemic of heroin and opiates will be replaced with an epidemic of hope. I actually have not even been sentenced in my case. Tomorrow is my sentencing.
And we just come together in agreement right now
And we ask, God, that you give her favor that doesn't make sense, that you go before her tomorrow, that even with this judge, Lord, that you would soften his heart, that you would remove blinders from his eyes, to see beyond the natural, to be able to see into the spiritual.
I stood in front of a judge who is reputably one of the most harsh judges in Lorain County, and he had let me know previously, that it's going to take a miracle to keep you out of prison for this. In the 13 years of him on the bench, he has never handed out, a sentence other than incarceration for such a crime. And by 11 o'clock this morning, he gave me probation. I won't see one day. I won't see one day in jail. Nothing. And that's not anything my defense attorney could have done, or I could have done, or, pastor's presence being there. I mean, none of it. It was a move of God that was so swift and strong through that courtroom that it shook that building. It was so amazing. So amazing.